Fortnite has had many art styles between the chapters, and honestly, it's kind of been a wonky slope. We've had really positive art styles, we've had very ugly art styles, in my opinion, and overall, just a lot of the charm and the unique style Fortnite once had has been lost. And I just really wanted to show it off to people because people will hear like, oh, Fortnite's lost its art style. Fortnite doesn't look the same. Fortnite is ugly now. And I just really want to show the comparison side by side throughout the years. Not every single thing, but just to go over overall art style changes. And I've made some examples. I've gotten some trees. And yes, Nanite is on because I'd have to install a bunch of stuff for my Fortnite, and I'm not about to do that right now. But let me just get into it. We're going to start off with the weapons. So to start off, these are all weapons that have had their original OG counterparts. Some of them have returned as technical different guns, but overall, they're just like a texture quality changed version of their previous model. And I want to go one by one. So we got the Save the World Chapter 1 pump shotgun. You can see very detailed, very like weird proportions. You know, we got a bunch of, it's a really cool design. You know, it's iconic. Then we got the Chapter 2 version, which kind of is missing some of the scuffs. It's more like, it's less cartoony, with still being decently cartoony. But overall, it's just had a whole, basically, model swap. And honestly, I think the Chapter 1 pump looks a lot cooler. You can argue, I think the pump doesn't look bad at all. Like, it looks great. But it kind of lost that art style and that unique flair that the original pump shotgun had. Now with the Chapter 1 drum gun and the Chapter 5 drum gun. As you can see, this is the Chapter 1. You got like a pretty unique detail. It's a little like keychain thing. We have the unique drum mag, you know, decently cartoony proportions, you know. Very cool, fun gun. This version still has some of the details. There is a little bit more like scuffs and stuff, but you can see they've just like got rid of all the unique texturing and made it very flat. Like everything looks kind of like Lego-y. Not that a diss to Lego, but it looks like more like low poly. Like I know the resolution's probably higher, and you know the textures don't look bad. Like it doesn't look like a bad gun, but this does not look like this one. This one is way more detailed. This is just very blocky and very like almost like unfinished looking. Like this is just like a rectangle where this is like a really cool unique piece here. And I know this was because of attachments, but just because attachments are a thing doesn't mean you gotta make the gun look very eh. And I know this is like a nitpick and stuff, but genuinely I think the Chapter 1 drum gun looks a lot better. Combat shotgun, oh my, they massacred this visual design. Like this gold bit, I know it's on the original, but it looks so weird. You don't have the little clip for the shotgun shell anymore. I don't like how chunky this middle bit is, and it's not as long as the original one. Like this original combat was very iconic because of how long it was and how like funny it kind of looked. But this thing looks like a chunky boy, and it doesn't look, I don't know, when I look at this, I don't think like combat shotgun. It looks like the chunk shotgun. I don't know. Then we got the iconic scar. This is the Chapter 2 model scar. We don't have the Chapter 1 model scar anymore because they updated it. I could go to Fortnite OG to look at that. But it still keeps its original, like, small kind of camo look. You know, got all, like, the funky design. Very cool. Then the Striker AR is the scar, but, like, more modernized. As I said, they just make everything more blocky, less cartoony. One thing I'll say is this one does have more detail, which I think is pretty cool. It's not the old detailing textures that I like on the old Scar, but everything's just kind of more, I don't know, like the muzzle here has visible wear. This muzzle's just black. It's not really, I don't know, it kind of lost all its charm, all its goofiness, all its like Fortnite-ify. It just to look kind of like, I could see this put into CSGO, where this one I could clearly like tell it's from Fortnite. Tactical AR, yeah, the loss of the scope, and I personally like the tactical AR without the scope. Like the scope's minimal change, but the Chapter 1 scope has this like cool thing on like this little symbol, got all the wear and tear. You got like this slight camo here, and that's just all missing from the Chapter 5 version. All like the cool little details, like they could even kept this little like mini scope here on this one. They just got rid of all the unique details. The suppressor, it's not even a suppressed weapon in its default form. The suppressor's fine, it's not a big deal, but it made the gun look a lot more chunky, or long, not chunky, like long. Like it just kind of awkward looking now, where this new one, old one looked a lot more clean. And I also prefer the animation when reloading. Oh, I'm on first person, I can't show it, but yeah, let me go back to here. Then we got the classic assault rifle. This isn't the original chapter 1, it's the chapter 2 looking version, but it's still really funky, cool looking. You know, like the barrel looks cool, everything's like fancy, got little like marks. The reload, like the not reload, the magazine looks cool, the stock looked cool. The chapter 5, admittedly, I kind of like the look of this. I know it does have the scope, which is very controversial, but I don't know, just like the shape and general look, yeah, it's very similar, but it's just like, I could see this in CSGO, where this one I can tell it's in Fortnite, and it's just meh. Then we got the clinger and the cluster clinger. I know they're technically different items, but they're based off the same thing. Here you got whatever the heck this circle thing is. It's funny. You got a plunger. It's funny. This kind of lost all the plunger aesthetic. Like, I wish they kept the plunger, but then they like added this little like fan thing in the grenades. Like, that would have been way cooler. And then you just got like all these little cool details, like boom on it. You got like the little X with the welding. This just doesn't have the same charm. Like it doesn't look bad, but the charm's gone. And now let's cover props, because props have the biggest change. But before we get to props, let's get to rocks. You got this rock here. This is the chapter 1 rock. I took all the same types of rocks. You can see really distinct art style, very cool, very awesome. This rock, chapter 2, it's the darker version. We don't have the original version in creative just yet. Looks fine, honestly. Not bad. Still can tell it's cartoony, can still tell it's Fortnite. Then we got the chapter 4 rock. You know, it's less distinct, still a little bit cartoony. You know, you can still kind of tell it's from Fortnite, but I could see this like in other games. And then the chapter 5, 6, 7 rock, like this thing is like, you can see all the gravel. Yeah, the texturing's not perfect, but it really doesn't look like Fortnite anymore. And especially when you have all the terrain around it, it's not giving that cartoony style that I love with Fortnite. Now let's go on to the trees. Yes, we have the nanite chapter 1 trees, but even then they look better. Chapter 1 tree, very artistically made, you know, very cool, very like, you can tell it's from Fortnite, very iconic. Same with the chapter 2 tree. Chapter 2's graphics I do enjoy. I like chapter 1's graphics the most, and then early chapter 2's graphics the second most. And then we got the chapter 4, 5, 6, 7 tree. Way too detailed, way too like thin. Like, it just kind of looks meh in my opinion. And then we got the standard tree. Of course, chapter 1, very artistic. I love like all the little details. I love the texturing. I like how like you can tell it's like a cartoony tree, like how people would draw them with like the 3 little bumps. Chapter 2 tree takes it to a different extent. Still, you can tell like the little bumps and stuff, and its texturing's pretty cool. And then the chapter 4, 5, 6, and so on tree, I don't know, the leaves just don't do it for me. Like, you can tell these are cartoony leaves. These are cartoony leaves. These leaves, I don't know. This thing just looks kind of bland, and it's not as vibrant. It's not as colorful. Also the chapter 2 tree, these are supposed to be like a more green like this and that tree, but they're bugged in creative, so it's, and there's no nanite version, but I think they look really good. I still think chapter 1 wins here. Here, I think chapter 2 honestly wins if the tree texturing was fixed, but the chapter 1 tree is beautiful. Like, you can tell this is like really stylized, looks really awesome. Even with the nanite upgrades, I love the little like green and bumps everywhere. It's beautiful. Chapter 2 tree, really great. It's not as good as art style, but you can still tell they're based off each other. Chapter 4 tree, honestly the worst looking tree. Like, what the hell is this? And the hitboxes in this thing are atrocious. Like, I can't like go anywhere. And then the chapter, I think this is 7. Chapter 7. This could have been chapter 6, but I'm not sure. I don't know. This thing just does not do it for me. It's just kind of ugly. Doesn't really keep that Fortnite art style. And when everything's put together, it's really tell. Over here are the palm trees. I do think the chapter 1 palm tree and the chapter 4 palm trees look the best. Like, the chapter 4 palm tree is almost perfect if they just change the leaves, in my opinion. Chapter 3 palm tree probably, it's not bad, but, and then the chapter 6, 7 palm tree, just ugly. Swamp trees over here. Chapter 1 tree, awesome, really gives you swampy. You could even use it for like a Halloween vibe. Chapter 2, Moisty Tree, Slurpy Tree looks awesome. And honestly, the Chapter 4 tree, Swamp Trees aren't bad. I just do not like this moss texture in the more modern stuff or the tree textures. I think the more cartoony, plain texture looks way better. But, you know, to each their own. And the cactuses, oh my gosh. I know this has the TV cameras, but we don't have the Chapter 7 cactuses in creative yet, that have without the TV surveillance stuff. Chapter 1 tree just mogs these. Like, the other two don't even have animations. This thing does have animations. I don't know if they're bugged in creative, but you can see it slightly move. Just complete mogs. And then I recreated some POIs. So we got this chapter 3, you know, like all the modern houses. I added the modern cars. I added the modern inside just to give a look of how everything looks. You can see, like, I could see this in many other games. It doesn't really scream Fortnite when I look at this house, besides it being a classic Fortnite house, but I want to do a comparison. So you come inside, everything's kind of like clean, everything's kind of like polished, it's kind of like straight. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It just doesn't give off the vibe. And you know, it's not bad looking. Like, don't get me wrong, the newer Fortnite stuff isn't bad looking, but it's not what I want from the game. It's not what I fell in love with when it comes to the art style. Just look around everywhere, like how flat everything is. And now let's look at the Chapter 1 version. I recreated it with the... I just think this has way more vibrant, looks way better, even with the nanite trees. Sadly, these are bugged in creative. I can't get the actual Chapter 1 versions, but the bushes are way more unique. We come in the house, everything's got like this lived in, really like goofy, really like interesting style. You know, like I love all the little weird angles and everything. Come into here, like everything, just like the texture scream personality. It looks like almost watercolored look. It might even be watercolored inspired, but it's like, it looks really cool. I really like the theming. Like, even the rooms in the newer version didn't have all this like cool texturing and stuff. You got like little like stuff on the props, you got all the details that like the modern stuff doesn't. Like, the modern bathtubs wouldn't have all this like detailing. Like, I know it's technically not as high resolution, but it's still beautiful. It's great looking. And then just everything in general. And then I've also mocked up some other POIs. So this was a Chapter 1 house made in the Chapter 7 art style, where this now is a Chapter 7 POI, Clausy Lodge, or part of Clausy Lodge, I think. And I went in here and, you know, I didn't really do much. I just added some of the ground and trees around it just to give the vibe. And then I recreated in that Chapter 1 art style, replacing the props where I could with simulators. I did have to make some changes because there wasn't certain props. Oh, I forgot to do this little wood things out the front, but shh. But I changed out all the textures, and it's just way more vibrant. It looks way more Fortnite-y. You know, I wish I could do the Steam thing with here, which there probably is something like that. You know, it's just like a lot more lived in. Then if you go on the inside, I had to change the inside a bit. I tried to replace some stuff with the props I could find and tried to do it more detailed, because the Chapter 1 POIs were a lot more detailed than the Chapter 7 and like Chapter 4 and beyond POIs, and I think it looks way better. You can let me know your thoughts, just my opinion. Made it Lonely Lodge themed. We even got some stuff over here like the Durburger van. This is the Chapter 7 version, just very, or Chapter 6. It's very like plain and boring, and then the Chapter 1 version has so much life and personality, like the no pizza sign, like French fries off the side. Like, we just are missing all that. And even the Durburger got nerfed, bro. Like, what is this? And then the same exact thing with the Tomato Town one. Got like the BRB, got all these little cool details, and like no to Durburger and stuff. Like, you're just missing all this cool details, care. Like, even the mustache on the front. Does the newer one have the mustache on the front? Bro, how are you missing the mustache, bro? And just like with everything, you got like such cool details on the older stuff that the newer stuff just doesn't have. And then I did another Chapter 7 POI over here. This is part of Battlewood Boulevard. I did have to make some changes to Chapter 7 one so I could find equivalents. So this is the Chapter 7 like Tilted Towers Casino. Fly on in. Yeah, the Chapter 1 version that I made isn't gonna look as good because it doesn't have all the props and stuff, but I'm just trying to get all like the main themes down, you know, the main look, you know, more like this is like what it would look like. Then this is the Chapter 1 version. I had to use some of the Chapter 7 props because we didn't have equivalents, but you know, just way more vibrant, way cooler looking. I just think the Chapter 1 art style is timeless, where the modern Fortnite art style is just kind of mid. Like I even redid the interior. I used some of the same props, of course, because we didn't have equivalents, but you can just tell, like, if we changed up some of the colors of the walls and stuff, like, it's very close to being, like, way better. The art style is just way more beautiful, in my opinion. But yeah, I think it just objectively looks better. And then I just want to show, like, over here a comparison of some factory buildings differences. Got the chapter 1, really unique, like, design of the building. You come inside, you know, everything's vibrant, everything's cool looking. I do admit this building isn't probably the best one to showcase. There's a lot cooler chapter 1 factory buildings. This is just, I just wanted to use the prefab, so it's the most official. Chapter 2 one, you know, same amount of detail, very similar props, you know, but a couple changes in art style. Chapter 4 one, I do like the layout and the look of the building, like the actual like layout. I do think the high-res textures kind of lose some of the charm, but I wouldn't say it's like that far from being the classic art style. But I feel like just like if I changed out a lot of the props or like textures, it would look way better. Then we got chapter 7 one. I like the details in this chapter 7 one, but everything just gives very like corporate, like lifeless vibe. And like I admit this isn't like the best factory building, but I couldn't really find like anything else. But like all the props are very like less detailed, less like not less detailed, but like they're just, it feels more, it doesn't feel Fortnite-y. I don't really know how to word it. And for the, just like to emphasize my point about how everything's kind of lost detail and personality, I did get a bunch of props that have changed. I just grabbed a bunch of them. So we got the bathtub over here. This one has like the little like stain inside. This one's like a lot cleaner. There's a little bit of a stain, don't get me wrong, but it's just like kind of loses all the art style. The beds are very, the chapter 1 bed mogs, like the holy, this thing is peak, and then this thing's just like meh. The water cooler, this one just looks way cooler. Like you see how everything is like straight and like lost a lot of personality. Like the TVs don't even have like the static on them anymore. Like I like this, I feel like it just looks way cooler. The chairs, like you lose all the little patchwork on the sides. You lose all like the little like detail in the like the little pattern. Same with the couch. You lose all these like little smiley faces and cool designs. Here I feel like this could look better if they just changed up a bit of everything, but I love the details and like I don't know, I just love the old art style. And then like the toilets, like holy, what happened here? This thing looks so ugly, get out of here. I did some more things, like I'm just gonna scan through a bunch of them, just like look how straight and like almost like fake this look, for this looks like so cool. Like even here, just the art style, the detail. I will admit this one does look better. I do, I like the bottles in the old one more, but like, if you look, I like the glass texture. This one doesn't have glass. The mine carts, I do kind of prefer the newer mine cart. Not every prop is necessarily better. Like both of these could work in the same art style if this one just had a little bit of like an older watercolor texture. But like, I think the old art style is just way more beautiful. Oh my gosh, the boxes. Chapter 1 boxes, chapter 2 and 3 boxes, and then chapter 4 plus boxes. Chapter 1 boxes look very cartoony, really cool. I do think the chapter 2 boxes look way better. Like I like all the details on the chapter 1 one, but I like the little like, where's the little sign? Like the little signs that they have on the side, and this one has, where's the umbrella and like wine icons. Like I think that's really charming. And then these boxes are just lame as hell. Like they just look way too, like these could be in any game. These you can tell are in Fortnite, but a little bit more modernized Fortnite, and this one just screams Fortnite. Like the art style loss, in my opinion, has been drastic. And in individuals, you can be like, oh, that's not that bad, but when you bring it all together, I do feel like the art style has gotten a lot less personality in it. Anyways, I can cover more. I could go on this for hours. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, follow, subscribe, and let me know how you guys feel about the video.